Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, your home for all content Lord of the Rings home. Today we're going to do a Worth the Whale video on Elladan. If you're new to that sort of series of video that I've been doing, it's essentially going through how you can purchase some of these pay-to-play characters, whether they're worth it. It's the basic premise of it. I've done one for Arwen. I'm going to do the one for any of the marquees that are basically required for legendaries. I've also done one for Halbarad, and I'll probably get to Bolg at some point as well. So, as most people are probably aware at this point, with the release of a marquee event or marquee character, you kind of get two options to purchase the character. The first is this $20, 20 US dollar pack here. You get 80 shards, right? That's enough to go from 3 to 4 stars. 3-star you get for free from the marquee event. Go up to 4 stars with this 80 shard pack here. You get a bunch of green gear as well here, so you don't have to farm that green gear. And then it used to be like 10 or 15K, but now you get 100K, which is pretty good. I think that's a pretty good deal. And then to go from 4 to 5 stars, like if you're going to use it to unlock a legendary, you have to buy these chests here. And someone left a YouTube comment on my previous YouTube video of like doing chest openings for Elladan that was basically like, you know, they're so consistent that it doesn't make for like entertainment, but you kind of know what you're going to spend. And I agree with that take 100%. And so I think you can basically budget between 7 to 9 purchases of this chest. So that's 7,000 to 9,000 gems. And I think basically the way people are doing math is that 100 gems is about $1. So you're spending somewhere between $70 to $90 on these chests to unlock him or to take him to 4 to 5 stars. And then you've got this $20 pack here. So it's probably around $100 per marquee to get a legendary character. I do have to say, though, you know, when I do record one of these chest pulling videos and I do get something that's more than just, you know, 17 or a little bit above, I think I am going to be contractually obligated to go insane on camera. Okay. So that's how you buy the character. Now let's talk about how good Elladan is. And I think he's a little bit of a beefcake here. This is my Elladan on my main account, so I've got him fairly maxed out. I'm level 56, so he's max level there. Just 5 stars. I don't have any interest in getting things to 7 stars at the moment. And then I've got his skills to 4, except for his passive and his special 2. And what's important to point out about his special 2 is that this last skill upgrade here is what gives you the extra stamina per boon on self. So if you have like a bunch of provokes or you have a bunch of boons already on your Elladan and you use this AoE skill, then you can just use it, spam it again next turn, right? It's also important to note that this skill upgrade comes at level 55, as opposed to other characters where level 6 for their special 2 is at level 58. So that was kind of a nice thing that they lowered the skill requirement down there. I also got to say, the nerf that Elladan got, basically reducing his numbers from beta levels to bring them more in line with the current game, very, very much needed. Can you imagine if his AoE ability had like 300 something plus % damage? Would be insane, super overpowered. I think they tuned it pretty well, actually. He still hits pretty hard. He just doesn't, you know, blow the opposite team away, which is very good. And so with that, actually, let's talk about, specifically, we'll start with PvP. So this is my current arena team. This is my defense. And I tried to get rid of Ugluk, but I just find I am having a lot more success with Ugluk. But I think what's a key part of this team is that you have to have both Elladan and Elrahir. Elladan is a pretty good tank by himself, but he really becomes good when you have Elrahir able to retaliate, and Elrahir's skill updates basically that let them do the team up attack. I think it's on the special 2 here. Yeah. If Elladan is an ally, instead attack the enemy 4 times, 120% damage per hit, ignoring 50% of the enemy's armor. It hits really hard, so that's awesome. And then of course, retaliation from Elrahir here. I keep saying that, and I don't mean to. But he's got this retaliation, which I don't have max because that requires level 60, but he does extra damage when he's retaliating for Elladan. This, I think, also plays an interesting role because if you have, say, let's go back. If you say, let's say you have another tank like Halberad here, then, and they're both taunting, then Elrahir can actually retaliate against a character that has done an AoE attack. So let's say Ironhide comes in, does some AoE thing, and you have both the taunts up from Halberad and you have some provokes up from Elladan, then he can actually ping 2 times on Ironhide, which I think is very, very important. So this is the team I'm using on defense, mainly because it has so much sustain. Elladan, super beefy. It's really hard to get through him, especially with Halberad on the team. So Halberad just offers more tankiness, like, you know, getting attacks off of Elrahir and that heal. Ugluk provides kind of like an off-tank situation plus lots of control. And then Arwen, again, is just more defensive and healing capabilities. And she's just a good all-around support. What I find, though, is that on offense, this team kind of takes a little bit to get going and takes a little bit to, you know, sort of start steamrolling through the other team. So what I will often do instead is I'll replace Arwen with somebody like Ironhide, and that just makes the matches a lot quicker, and I'm not worried about timing out. But that's one of the reasons I have Arwen here on defense, is to kind of slow things down for the other team so that maybe they're making rush decisions. One thing I want to also point out is that the nimble proccing on Elladan is crazy. That's the next thing I'm going to get to max. I want to max Elrahir's passive here and also Elladan's, because 70% chance for nimble, it procs up a decent amount, right? And it's just an extra free hit that you don't have to worry about. And he's already got so much beef. I wonder how many times I've said beef. I'm going to fade up a beef counter into the video now, just to see how many times I've said it. And we'll keep track. But he is just so beefy already that being able to basically dodge a free hit, he's just really hard to kill him. I don't think he's as plug-and-play friendly as somebody like Halberad. And the reason I'm saying that is because I think you, like I mentioned earlier, to unlock his true, like, full potential, you need Elrahir. So he's kind of like a battery pack, in the same way that Bolg and Tordok are kind of like a battery pack. I think you need both of them together, and then he becomes insanely good. For PvE, I've done some campaigns with him, but I haven't like done any challenges, because I think I've maxed out the challenges that he could participate in. But I imagine if you have like the Isengard 3 with Elladan and Elrahir, that's going to go pretty hard. Take you quite a ways. Campaign's been pretty easy with him, actually. Basically, you end the campaign mission with like 7+ stacks of provoke on Elladan. Like, nobody's getting through him. You're able to just control the situation very, very well. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think he is an integral part of the Rivendell team. I don't think you should use Lelio over him. I think that's obvious to pretty much everybody. He is the tank for the Rivendell team. There's no doubt about it. And just the additional counterattacks that he might get from Elrond is going to be crazy, plus this plus 10% max health. So right now for the Rivendell team, I'm actually thinking that it might be Elrahir, Elladan, Arwen, Elrond, and then as a 5th, Halberad. Maybe playing around with Ugluk and Ironhide as well, but Halberad also crazy good. And this is going to kind of dovetail into me talking about the Rangers. But Halberad's passive, this is on his passive, okay, grants an extra, 7% max health here for Ranger squad members. So he doesn't have to be in the leader spot. And he's already giving your Elrahir and Elladan an extra 7% max health. You stack that on top of the plus 10% max health here for light squad members, which Halberad is also going to get, right? And I think this team is not going to be as squishy as people think. I think a lower level Elladan is still probably pretty good. I'm obviously using him at a kind of near max level, but I think he also still offers a lot of viability. I see maybe some complaints about being squishy, especially with Elrahir. I think that's probably true. Elrahir does get a little squishy, but with Elrond, leadership ability, Halberad passive, that's like an extra plus 17% health on Elladan. Come on. That's too much beef. That's going to be really beefy. I am very excited to see how he works in this full squad. But now let's talk about Rangers. I still don't think it's there. I'm just going to give it to you straight. Elladan doesn't include anything stealth related, anything eagle eye related. So this leadership ability that Halbarad has for the Rangers, he just doesn't play a role in it. I think there are some great plug and play characters in the Ranger squad, right? Strider's great plug and play character. Halbarad, top 3 plug and play character. If you include Elladan and Elra here, right? They're just both a wonderful plug and play together if you kind of link them up. But that doesn't mean that like the Ranger squad is good and that we should be, focusing on building up Rangers, because, Miri isn't good, and the leadership ability that Halbarad has doesn't really feel like it's getting utilized a lot, and Elladan doesn't really play into any of that. So I think it's maybe not fair to say that Rangers are like a meta team now, because it's not really relying on the leadership ability of Halbarad. It's just that you have a Ranger squad that's mostly, really good plug and play characters that you're probably going to, mix and match to form another arena squad with anyway. Don't think you need to worry about his leadership ability a whole lot either. It's fine, but, once Elrond comes out, of course you're going to use Elrond over a Ranger squad, in my estimation. If I were to give this character an overall ranking by himself, I would say he's definitely high B, A tier for sure. I think with Elra here, he kind of bumps up to A+, possibly S tier in my estimation. He's a very good tank. I'm very happy with him and how he turned out. I do think people who were saying that they were wanting to invest in Elladan more than Arwen turned out to be correct. Not that I don't think Arwen's bad, or that she's not going to be important, but I do think Elladan is just a massive piece of the Rivendell puzzle, that team, and he's just good. So with that, thanks for watching.